Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in. And let's start off with this tweet here from Just a Tech Guy. So we do see liquidity attracts liquidity, XRP. We do see, think of XRP as the CBDC decentralized exchange, DeFi for central banks. Imagine all 180 currencies having pairs to each other. 180 times 180 equals 32,400 exchange pairs, each needing legal frameworks and staked liquidity, unfeasible in the multipolar world of the future. I want you all to realize when we talk about the value of XRP, we talk about XRP's power and potential, we look at liquidity. A lot of people tell me, Nick, you sound like a broken record. You talk about on-demand liquidity and liquidity all the time when you talk about XRP. Well, think about it, right? You know, what makes the world go round? What makes every transaction, every single payment? I mean, you go to the store, swipe your card. Yeah, sure. It's a pre-approved payment. But at the end of the day, it is all built upon and powered by liquidity. It's the number one reason why we have Vostro accounts that are extremely inefficient. It's to back the system with liquidity. So when we look at this, right, this is a quoted tweet. It's from Bob Way, and we do see nice find. That is exactly why the term has become so popular. Once you have atomic settlement via two central banks, the game is over. Every other central bank will follow. Otherwise, their country would be at a significant disadvantage. Okay, let's think about that quote now. Because guess who's sitting on the sidelines, watching the clock tick, tick, tick around the SEC lawsuit? Oh, yeah, that's right, Bank of America. Now, Bank of America is a very, very large bank, especially within the U.S. I mean, it's Bank of America, right? They are waiting on the sidelines to utilize on-demand liquidity through XRP. Once Bank of America goes live with on-demand liquidity and the power and the potential of that mechanism shines brighter than anything else, guess what will follow? Very similar to atomic settlement between two central banks, we will have every other major banking branch tied to XRP. Very similar to what Anderson is actually saying over here. Probably why Ashish said that Citi would be Ripple's last customer. The current system is hugely profitable for a few mega banks. And we do see down here, Citibank uses their own blockchain settle that also works alongside Swift. Has been bothering me for a while, as I think they could be the XRP competitors. What do you guys think? And we do see Bob Way. All large banks are competing with each other in order to capture each other's transaction flows and fees. Most don't want to dramatically change the current system because it is too profitable for them to risk. And yes, when you think about this, right, they are massive giants around the financial system. They are making money hand over fist. We have a question over here, right? Good or bad for Ripple? I'm trying to reach between the lines, but I can't read, and I don't see lines. And we do see if you're, the largest bank in the world making tens of billions of dollars each year as a correspondent bank, you probably don't want a new system disrupting your entire revenue model, which is based on friction the new system removes, even though the new system gives you more reach. And yes, this is exactly what we pay attention to. Not only that, you massively lower the barriers of friction, meaning all sorts of new businesses will compete with you, since the old system heavily relied on economies of scale. Nostro Vostro. Remember, big key. The smaller the bank and financial institution is, the more they will gain by RippleNet. But probably almost all banks in the world would gain from the new system, except very few banks at the very top, such as Citi. And yes, this is why it's such a big focus point to look at Bank of America waiting on the sidelines for the XRP lawsuit to be done, because once they do adopt on-demand liquidity, it gives them a significant advantage over players like Citi that will have no choice but to utilize on-demand liquidity. And the good thing about on-demand liquidity as a mechanism is that it is patent technology. Now, I want to bring you guys over here to this tweet because very similar to what Just a Tech Guy outlined for us, the CBDC decentralized exchange, where XRP essentially is that bridge currency between all 180 currencies. But we go and look over here. Stop and smell the money flowers. Where does XRP sit in all of this? Retail, yes, no? In my opinion, no. We will talk about that. With all that I read, I come to the same conclusion. Stablecoin, yes. Decentralized, yes. Wholesale, yes. Retail, question mark. There is no, there's no way that XRP is designed or formulated for retail. I actually don't believe that retail use was ever a thought with XRP. Shout out to Nathan Price, Nate855 over on Twitter. But we do see here's a few diagrams. Let me open this real quick up in some new tabs. That way you guys can see everything. And, you know, Twitter's not kind of, you know, it's like scrubs it. So it's like very blurry. But nonetheless, here you guys have cryptocurrencies in the money flower. So here's the money flower. And just give you guys a quick insight. You have the central bank digital currencies, commodity money, cash, and central bank reserves and settlement accounts at the center point. Then on the outside, you guys have a few other things like virtual currencies, bank deposits, all that kind of stuff. You have cryptocurrency permission DOT over here. This bleeds all the way over to private digital token for wholesale, aka JPM coin. Guess what is a perfect example of wholesale CBDCs? XRP. Again, stablecoins for cross-border payment, XRP. All of this is centered on the big guys, not the retail, but this is the big guys. Remember what I've always said about XRP and XLM, though, right? XRP, I've always said B2B. XLM, always P2P. It's a big, diverse situation in terms of the niche audiences that both of these tokens are centered on. I mean, like, these are the big differences between XLM and XRP. A lot of people ask me, well, why would I invest into XLM if I could just invest into XRP? Well, it's very simple, right? I could go buy a Mercedes-Benz, but I could also go buy a BMW. They're completely two different cars. They're still, you know, German engineered, but they're two completely different cars. This is the same exact way that I look at XRP and XLM. Like, yes, they are extremely large fintech use case tokens, but they're completely different in terms of their niche audiences. They come from the same aspect, but they are focused on two different niche audiences. One's for P2P, one's for B2B. And yes, sure, in the past we have seen, you know, Ripple talk about possibilities of retail focus with XRP through on-demand liquidity corridors and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I just don't see a viability for that. I think that when we look at XRP globally as an adoption token, we look at a utility settlement coin that will be at the forefront of central bank digital currencies and the central banks, more so the big players. This will be that token that settles almost all transactions. If not, it will settle all transactions through the major banking sector. Now, will it grasp all the money? That's a big question, right? We always really kind of put a question mark on that because it's a little bit of an illogical statement. We don't know what could happen with all of the money, but we know for a fact that when we look at CBDCs and we look at even wrap CBDCs as they're talking about up here, you know, we look at cross-border payments between CBDCs. You know, you still need that, you know, center point, that platform in the center for interoperability, which we do see like Interledger being mentioned here, which we know Interledger protocol was designed and formulated by Ripple as well. And then when we look at central bank digital currencies or central banks create regional networks, look at that. RippleNet, right at the center point. And you do see this is Xcurrent. So Xcurrent has been, you know, rebranded since. This is what on-demand liquidity is basically now. But we do see sovereignty with interoperability. Central banks can offer liquidity when constrained via commercial banks. Smaller banks can leverage cross-border, central bank reserves to conduct cross-border transactions. All legs are atomic for certainty of settlement, 24/7 in real time for all use cases. Interoperability via Interledger protocol can connect existing networks as well. And we know that even if it's not Interledger protocol, it could very well be Quant with their Overledger. And you even do see like settlement engine for XRP Ledger, and you see everything kind of break down to like XRP Ledger. You also see even the Ethereum network over here as well. But yes, it's very, very interesting. And this is all through like bridging through Interledger, by the way. And you do see transfer mechanism as well. This goes all the way back up here to central bank reserves, mainly used to settle payments through this commercial bank, central bank to general public tier list. This is the tier. This is the back end for the tier 1, and then you have tier 2. And you have the transfer mechanism being up here on the left. This is essentially like the back end. So the back end would be the transfer mechanism with protocol operators and even the infrastructure, aka DLT technology, with the validators and even coding and roles of the DLT on the back end platform of this. And we have XRP acting as that bridge currency still. And then over here, we have, again, like these are all diagrams of how this would work. The one thing that I want you all to focus on here is XRP not being labeled at all for retail use. XRP is the bridge between CBDCs. Like retail doesn't even touch XRP. The central banks do, right? So, you know, you wouldn't be utilizing XRP to make transactions. You wouldn't be paying in XRP. You're not going to go to Starbucks and say, hey, I would like this and that, and here's my XRP. No. What you would be paying in is a digital currency, stablecoin or CBDC, which, because I've always said, like, either two is fine. You know, I think that both of them are very well a possibility. We might have, you know, central bank backed stablecoins or CBDCs, and, you know, XRP will be the bridge between it. We even need to see, like, you know, since XRP does not present any counterparty risk and does not grant the holder any claim against or control over an issuer, the value of XRP is set by market forces as it is traded on over 100 exchanges globally at the current moment in time. But, you know, this is just saying that it doesn't grant the holder any claim against or control over an issuer, which is what we do see up here, like no claim, object, managed coins basis. I mean, at the end of the day, this could technically, it doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, you know, it doesn't mean that it gives a retail customer or individual any, you know, control over like the issuer itself or anything like that. That's the wording here is a little bit misconstrued. But one thing that I will say off of this slide itself is that we kind of go back to the original diagram where XRP itself would be the private digital token, not widely accessible within this, you know, retail CBDC, wholesale CBDC spectrum, which again, it's all around, you know, that private digital token for wholesale use, the JPM coin, because when we go back to this original statement or this original diagram here, the statement under most relevant for wholesale CBDC is a utility settlement coin. They're talking about USC here, but we could have that XRP utility token being the settlement coin instead. And then last but not least, we have this hybrid model. XRP is a hybrid exchange/utility token. We have payment tokens, utility tokens, and even hybrid tokens here. And they do mention that quite a bit. And this is, again, around, you know, just how things will work within this entire mechanism. One thing that I would love to note whenever we do talk about XRP on this channel, and whenever we do talk about these central bank digital currency diagrams and breakdowns, is it's very easy. It's very easy to say like, okay, well, XRP 100% is not for retail because of these diagrams. No, the reason why I always say that XRP isn't for retail isn't just because of these diagrams. No, it's because of what the actual focus point is from Ripple. Ripple is positioning XRP to be that bridge currency between central bank digital currencies, right? It's that bridge currency that will settle all transactions between them because it's an easy bridge for them to be able to transact through an atomic settlement mechanism. And I even think that one of the biggest players around Ripple to focus on is Anthony Welfare. He's one that really kind of strikes every single note whenever you look at central bank digital currencies and how they will work on the XRP ledger and how they will be settled or even transacted. And we do see like once you can use stablecoins and CBDCs to make quick and small transactions, you open the country to significant new opportunities and innovations. Remember, this entire time, you're not utilizing XRP. Like a lot of people think that like, okay, well, XRP will move all of the money. XRP will, yeah, exactly. XRP will move all of the money, but XRP won't be seen. You won't see retail individuals utilizing XRP. I won't be using XRP. You won't be using XRP. What you will be using and what I will be using is either stablecoins or central bank digital currencies. And this is where everything kind of gets a little bit confusing for most people because like they don't see how big of an opportunity this is for something like XRP. Because if you have all of, these B2B or even P2P, right? Like, yeah, sure. Could you have P2P through XRP? Necessarily, like, yeah, you could. But in my opinion, that's not what we're focused on. With what Ripple is trying to do, they're focused more so on B2B. They don't care about the P2P market. I mean, even when you look at cross-border payments, $156 trillion market, like 150 trillion of that is B2B. The rest is like all P2P. But yeah, I think that this is going to be big. When we look at this, like this is centered on businesses mainly. When we look at like quickly settling cross-border payments, assuming the receiving country accepts your stablecoin. But even if they don't, like what if there's CBDCs in place? And it's very interesting because when we focus on the XRP ledger, when we focus on XRP, like this is going to be very large for CBDCs. It's a huge advantage that that XRP and even the XRP ledger has over most DLTs in the space is that like this has been in development for a while. This has been planned for a very long time. Ripple seen what was happening initially on in the early days of crypto, and they seen this vision of where things were headed, and now we're kind of seeing this all morph into reality, especially around some of these larger areas. But now we really kind of focus on the pilots that are already in place around CBDCs with Ripple. Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, the Republic of Palau, and it could be much more, but there is no consensus on what a CBDC is and what it will/can be used for. It's underdefined at this current moment in time, but when we look at this, right, we know that this is going to be a big innovation centered around the central banks. And when we look at this, this is going to change the way that value is created, moved, settled. And, I really think that this is where DLT comes into place. And I think that this is where XRP shines the brightest through on-demand liquidity, because liquidity is going to make this entire system move. I always love the quote from Brad Garlinghouse where he's talking about liquidity being the oil that lubes the entire system. This is going to be such a huge opportunity for XRP. If we are looking at these diagrams, we know XRP is labeled, mentioned so many times. A lot of people think like, all right, well, XRP is labeled here, XRP is mentioned here, but it doesn't mean that XRP will be used. Like, listen, when I have looked at almost like all of the diagrams for central bank digital currencies, and when I look at stable coins like commercial grade stable coins, and it's from the BIS, the IMF, the ECB, etc., it's always the fact that one, they focus on interoperability. Like interoperability always is like a big key, but then it's liquidity. Like liquidity is the focus. And this is why when we look at what we've seen in the past around atomic settlement and how large of an opportunity this could be, it is going to be a very, very exciting time in the market once we start to see something go live with this, because all it takes is one central bank to achieve that atomic settlement via two central banks. And it all starts with XRP. It's the number one reason, right? It's the number one reason, in my opinion, why there's only 2 trials under Ripple. I think that they already planned this ahead of time. I think that they realized that if they could get these 2 CBDCs, right, these 2 CBDC trials, if they could have these 2 settle between each other, it's game over. It's game over. And every central bank will follow behind. And could this be the start of the next big innovation around payments and finance through XRP? It 100% could. And this is very exciting. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this before. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.